Good evening, everyone. You are watching the Just Keep Up podcast, where we're one step ahead. I'm Kurt Johnson. This is Pete Zindros. We're excited to be back to you guys here on Monday, guys. It's going to be a great show. We have a lot to talk about, lots to get into. Our featured story, we're going to be talking all about the Milwaukee Bucks. They are 1-6. Bro, I don't know what is going on with them, bro. Man. Um, yeah, guys. So Milwaukee's 1-6. We're gonna be talking about what's wrong with them. Is the season salvageable? What's going on with them? Should they fire the coach? So we're gonna really be digging deep into that. And then for the second half of the show, we're gonna be talking football, guys. So we're gonna be talking about Dak Prescott has been placed on IR, and the Cowboys are 3-5. Um, we're also going to talk about the Bills and the Dolphins game, and then the Packers and Lions game, guys. So we have a lot to talk about, lots to get into. Thank you, guys. If you're watching, thank you for being with us here on this Monday. As we know, Election Day is tomorrow, bro. So we're going to have a crazy show on Rumble for Wednesday, guys. So definitely go check us out, rumble.com. Just Keep Up Podcast, guys. And as far as here, guys, definitely like and subscribe. Help us to impact and to reach as many people as possible. Other than that, bro, do you have anything before we get into today's show? All right, cool. Yeah, guys. So our featured story is the Milwaukee Bucks for basketball, guys. The Milwaukee Bucks are 1-6. They lost today to the Cavs by 2 points, so they fall to 1-6. I'll start with you. What's wrong with the Milwaukee Bucks?
Uh, Pretty much everything, but it starts with the coaching staff. They have the most overrated coach of all time, Doc Rivers, and probably the worst assistant coach in NBA history, Darvin Ham Sandwich. We all know Darvin Ham was obviously a horrible coach on the Lakers, and he's also a horrible assistant coach, it seems like. But it starts with Doc Rivers at the end of the day. He's the head coach. He's the one that gotta have these guys ready, and yeah, this guy's just never prepared.
Bro, what's your nickname for Doc Rivers?
I can't say it on YouTube. I can't. I can't say it here on YouTube, but he's a fraud though. He's a fraud. The guy has multiple blown 3-1 leads with multiple different teams. I mean, the guy was blowing 3-1 leads before I was even born, and I didn't even know that till like 2 years ago. He's always throwing his guys under the bus. He's always choking games, etc. He's never prepared for anything. Like, there's a reason why this guy has been on like 5 to 6 different teams coaching wise now. Like, the 76ers fired him. Who did he coach right before that? Was it the Clippers?
Clippers, Boston.
Clippers, Boston. Like the Orlando Magic, which is when he blew a 3-1 lead even for them in like 1999,
Bro,
I think it is.
Bro, he blew a 3-1 lead in every single decade that he was a coach.
And pretty much every single team he's been on, he blew multiple 3-1 leads, multiple 3-2 leads. Like, the guy is literally a choker. He's never prepared for anything. He doesn't make adjustments. That's why he doesn't win. He has that one NBA title that he won, which was considered a super team at the time, and it was 16 years ago. That's really the only thing keeping him in the NBA at this point. But once the Bucks fire him, he's out of there for good, bro. So it all starts with him. Most overrated coach ever. Darvin Ham Sandwich sucks as well. And then as far as the roster goes, I mean, the roster isn't even anything crazy either, in my opinion. Like, yeah, Giannis is obviously dominant. In my opinion, he's the second best player in the NBA right now. After Jokic. Wrong. You don't think he's second? Nah. Where do you rank Giannis?
Nah, bro. I mean, bro, think about it like this, bro. Giannis won the championship in what, 2021? They won. And he had an historic run, yes. But mind you, we're heading on 2025 now, bro. What has he done since then?
I mean, the guy pretty much averages like 30, 13, and 5 every year. And,
Yeah, but what does that matter?
He's also an amazing defender.
Yeah, but what does that matter if, like, he doesn't even have an MVP since then. He doesn't have a Defensive Player of the Year since then. And he doesn't have any memorable moments in the playoffs since then either. So it's like he had this incredible run in 2021, but since then it's been all Jokic or, or Steph.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely a top three player in the NBA. Every single season, no doubt about it. And I mean, I know his team hasn't won anything, but I'm not going off championships to determine if somebody else is better than someone. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say Jalen Brown, for example, is better than him just because he was the Finals MVP last year. Like, the only other guy, in my opinion, that you could argue is probably better than him right now is maybe Luca, but that's about it. I don't think you could really put him below three, though. I mean, I don't think you could argue LeBron over him at the moment. I don't think you could argue Steph, Durant, Embiid, whoever. I think three is the lowest you could probably put him. But in my opinion, I have him second though. He's obviously dominant. He's not to blame for any of this. Damian Lillard has been up and down. He's had some good games, some bad games, but overall he's miserable. He doesn't want to be in Milwaukee. Um, and then the rest of their team, like Chris Middleton, is like washed. Brooke Lopez is like all right. They have no bench. Like I think they should just blow it up. To be honest, just blow it up. Fire Doc Rivers and Darvin here. Make sure those guys never set foot in the NBA again. Never, never let them back in unless it's as a commentator or some shit. But never let them back in. Not in an office role. Not in a coaching role. Nothing. I don't want them to do shit with the team. They are god awful
Bro,
coaches.
but Darvin Ham's a player coach, bro.
A player coach who does what? Nothing. Nah, bro. They're terrible, bro. Fire them. Rebuild the roster now. Giannis has already made it clear if the team's not heading in the right direction, he's open to leaving, and it's gonna happen after this year. Like I already see it. If the Bucks fail, he's just gonna request a trade in the offseason. And Damian Lillard is getting up there in age. Just blow it up.
So you don't think it's salvageable
No.
this season?
No, in my opinion, this is the worst situation in the NBA ever since the Lakers roster Russell Westbrook.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so my turn. So yeah, I think that the Bucks are 1-6 for one main reason. And it's not coaching, even though it could play a factor, but it's not the main reason. The main reason why the Bucks are 1-6 is because they're old. If you look at the teams that they're facing, they're young. They go up and down the field or the court. Excuse me. They go up and down the court fast on them. They don't get back off of a turnover. Not even Giannis. He doesn't even really get back once they turn the ball over anymore. And it's very clear they're old. They're all old. Middleton, Dame, Giannis is getting up there. Brooke Lopez, like Portis, like they're all old. And so that's the problem is the roster construction. They thought that they could run it back 5 straight years with the same roster, but just adding Dame, that's going to get them over the hump. Like, no, you can't have the same exact starting lineup with an addition to another older player and think you're going to contend the same way you did 5 years ago. That's just not going to work, bro. I mean, you know, we saw with the Lakers, bro. We saw with the Nuggets. These these high scoring, high paced teams, these are the teams that are winning games, bro. Look at Boston, bro. They're the champs. They get up and down the court. If you look at the Timberwolves, they got to the Western Conference Finals. They're an up and down team. You know, so you have to be able to run. You have to have young guys with energy that could play defense, that could shoot threes. And the Bucks are old. So it's the roster construction, which is the biggest thing for me, which is why they're 1-6. You know, and they had a couple close games that they could have won, like today, and then they had a couple blowouts that it's just like, what the hell is going on? So, you know, with all that being said, I don't think that this season is salvageable because they're not going to do anything with the roster that's going to drastically change them from being slow and old. You know, so that's not going to change. So, you know, I do think the Bucks will get their act together, go on a little run, get into the postseason. But I see it being the same as usual, getting bounced in the first round, the second round at the most. And that's if people are even healthy in the first place. We all know the last couple of years, Giannis hasn't been healthy once the postseason comes. Dame has known to not be too healthy. So, you know, we have to see where they are health-wise. And we all know Middleton's like never healthy. There's a stat that shows after their championship run, he's been out 50% of the time. I think it was like 51% of the games he's been out.
Yeah,
so
and I mean, you know, he's not the same player he used to be.
He's not the same player.
He's not that player that you could rely on to get you 20 points a game anymore. I mean, back in 2021, he was that guy, but since then, He's gotten older. He's gone through injuries. He's not the same guy no more.
Yeah, exactly. So, they taken a step back because they haven't taken a step forward. Like that's just what it is with Milwaukee. So do you think Doc Rivers should be fired today?
Yes, fire him. Did you guys know Doc Rivers is 18-25 since joining the Bucks? Like,
Yeah, they were 31-13 under Griffin.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I'm gonna be completely honest. I actually like Giannis. He's my favorite player in the NBA. Probably after LeBron. Um, But what he did last year, in my opinion, was unacceptable. Like, I mean, they were doing perfectly fine under Griffin, and apparently Giannis and Dame got him out of there.
Yeah, they didn't like him.
Yeah, they didn't like him because he was actually trying to be a coach.
Yeah,
He was trying to tell them what to do. So they're just
they were like, he's too hard during practice,
like,
and
bro,
all that
like,
shit.
bro,
Like, yeah, bro.
he's a head coach, bro. He's not gonna be a personal D rider. like what the hell, bro? He's a head coach. Like this is his job. His job is to coach you guys. And I mean, I guess they didn't like that. So now that they have to coach themselves because they have a phony head coach, they can't win games. So I'm gonna be honest. Giannis and Dame kind of deserve this.
Yeah, bro, it's wild, bro. But yeah, so your thing is you think they should fire Doc Rivers right now?
Yeah, fire him right now. Fire Darvin Ham. Uh, Blow up the team. Like, bro, just get Giannis and Dame out of there for a haul, bro, because this isn't a fixable situation. And Dame's getting old. Giannis, I already see it. He's gonna request a trade in the offseason. He's already made it clear if the team's not headed in the right direction, he's open to leaving. And it's clearly not going in the right direction. And I mean, he's like 28, 29 years old. He doesn't want to waste the last few years of his prime just trying to retool the roster for first round exits. Like, he's not gonna do that.
I mean, I get it, but you know, I just feel like I never liked Giannis's attitude, and I never liked his approach to the game. Like his approach is like, if things aren't going well, I'm just gonna leave, and it's like, bro, like that, like bro, like that's not what a superstar does. Like Giannis, because remember, bro, he threatened to leave a couple years prior to them winning the championship. They won the championship. Then he threatened to leave shortly after that. They got him Dame. Now he's threatening to leave again. It's like, bro, not every situation is going to be the perfect situation. It's up to you as the star to lift us up from certain situations that we may be in. And Giannis, unfortunately, hasn't been able to do that. But instead, he's just like, well, I'm just going to leave. Not all the time is it about numbers, bro. A lot of times, and bro, I'm going to give you an NFL analogy where a lot of people say one of the reasons why Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT is not just because of the Super Bowls, but also because he doesn't have the leadership traits that Tom Brady does. He doesn't know how to galvanize the troops around him like Tom Brady does. And I think that's I think a characteristic that a superstar, an all-time great superstar should have. And to me, Giannis just doesn't have that. He can't galvanize the troops around them. He can't get them to play harder. He can't, encourage the team to do better. And instead, he just throws he just throws shots at teammates and he threatens to leave. And it's like, bro, you're supposed to be the guy that's supposed to, swipe some of this stuff away. And unfortunately, he just hasn't been able to do that since 2021. So in my eyes, this falls back on him as well because you could have the numbers, bro, all day. But if you have the team and they're just not winning, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, what can I do to help us win games? Because we all know now all stats are created equal. Um, so I agree with you that they should fire Doc Rivers, but I don't know if they should right now because then you go through the situation of like, well, this is back-to-back years we fired a head coach during the regular season, like it makes them look bad. So I think you kind of finish the year with him. But if they don't get to minimum the conference finals, you need to fire him. This was an L.
I was just suggesting fire Doc Rivers because I just think they should blow it up altogether. Like, I don't think they should fire him until they officially pull the plug. Like, once they're like, okay, we suck, time to rebuild. That's when I think they should fire Doc Rivers. Fire him then, and then get Giannis and Dame out of there. Because, obviously for as long as they have Giannis and Dame, they're gonna try their best to win games. And firing their coach mid-season is not gonna help them win games. So for as long as they're trying to win, they're gonna keep him. But I think they should just blow it up altogether. That's why I'm saying get him out of there once they pull the trigger officially.
Yeah, no, they're not gonna get him out of here just yet, bro. They're not gonna get rid of. They're not gonna get rid of Giannis and Dame. You know, they're 1-6. They strongly believe that they're a top 3 team in the East, and they're not gonna blow it up, bro. They're gonna try to make it work, which I would try to make it work too if I had that roster. So the last question I want to get to before we move on is, what should they actually do then? Do you think they should blow it up right now at 1-6? You think he's calling people trying to get Giannis out of there realistically, or what do you think they should actually do right now?
Well, I would say they actually don't own their pick this year. So I would probably suggest just wait till the deadline most likely. Um just wait till the deadline, see what happens, If there's no improvement, then blow it up, in my
So
opinion.
how long are you giving before? Are you giving the rest of the season?
I'll give it till the deadline, honestly. I mean, if they're still like below 500 by then, I would say just blow it up.
You would trade Giannis in the middle of the year.
Yeah, I would blow it up if the team has no direction. I would. Yeah.
Bro, you do realize that no star of his caliber in NBA history has gotten traded at before the deadline.
There's a first for everything. It almost happened with Anthony Davis a few years ago. It'll happen this time. Well, at least it should. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. All right. Yeah. So for me, I don't agree with that at all. I think you have to ride out this season no matter how it turns out. You have to ride it out. You really don't have a choice. I mean, you can't trade Giannis in the middle of the year. That's crazy. Yeah, and you're not trading Dame either. I don't even know if you could trade Dame. Who would take on that contract and him at that age? I mean, I don't know who would take that. It obviously has to be a contender, but you're not going to trade him to, you know,
Miami.
yeah.
Miami's one candidate that would probably be interested.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It depends if Miami thinks they're a Dame away, which the way that he's playing right now, I don't know. I don't know about that. But yeah, I would say I would just leave it for right now, see how the season goes, and then go from there. They're obviously not going to play this bad throughout the year. They're going to be a playoff team. So I think ride it out with that, see what you can do, and then from there, just address it in the offseason. But yeah, guys, I want to move on. I want to get into the NFL now. So I want to talk about Dak Prescott. So Dak Prescott has been placed on IR, and the Cowboys are now 3-5. And for the time being, Cooper Rush is going to be their starting quarterback. So what's your take on all that? Dak Prescott being out with the hamstring, the Cowboys being 3-5, and them starting Cooper Rush now.
It doesn't matter if Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush, or Trey Lance is the quarterback. The Cowboys suck, and all three of those quarterbacks suck as well. But I do think they should at least go with Trey Lance for now. I mean, I think they invested like a fourth or fifth round pick to get him, and I mean he's young. Not too long ago he was the third overall pick of the NFL draft, and I know when he's been on the field he hasn't looked good at all, but. I mean, you might as well just give him a chance. I mean, you guys suck anyways. I mean, you might as well just see if he's worth anything at all, Because, I mean, the team clearly has no direction right now. So I would say just give him a shot, bro. If he looks decent, try and, trade him during the offseason to, try and, surround the team a bit better since they don't have the pieces to support Dak and CD at the moment. That's my best advice. I think starting Cooper Rush is not going to get them anything.
I disagree with you 100%. I think they're not playing for a future quarterback. They're playing a couple weeks to keep them afloat. And if you think that Cooper Rush is the slightly better quarterback now, he obviously knows the system more because he's been there longer. He's more experienced. He's a veteran in the league. You go with the veteran you need to at least be relevant for the couple games that Dak is out, whether he's out for 2 games, 3 games, 4 games. You want to go 50-50. You want to go 500. And you're like, how do we do that? Are we going to do it with Trey Young or Trey Lance, who hasn't even played a full starting year? has little to no experience, or are we gonna go with Cooper Rush, who has stepped in the past and has won games for us? I think this is a no-brainer. You go with Cooper Rush. If Dak Prescott was out for the year and the season was lost and you're already out of playoff contention, then you play Trey Lance. But you can't play Lance right now because you're trying to stay afloat to have a playoff push.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. They're literally 3-5 with Dak. Like, the team clearly isn't good. Even if Cooper Rush is the slightly better quarterback over Lance, I think regardless they're cooked, bro. Like, even if Dak Prescott's the quarterback, I think they're cooked. I think what they need to realize is that it's a situation that it's gonna be hard to build themselves out of because of how many huge contracts they got. Like, Dak and CD are on huge deals. They have to pay Micah Parsons still. We can't even forget about him. So you're on the verge of having 3 big contracts and your team absolutely sucks. That's why I'm saying just toss the season. You're cooked regardless. At least give Trey Lance a chance, so you could try to get something for him in the offseason to, like, work towards next year at least. Because, I mean, this year they're not doing anything regardless. Jerry Jones was saying he still believes they can win a Super Bowl, but he got to stop being so stubborn, bro. He just got to realize that his team is awful and they got to do what's best, at least moving forward. And I think moving forward is giving Trey Lance a chance and seeing if you could get anything. I mean, if he sucks and you don't get nothing, oh well, it is what it is. But your season's cooked either way. You don't lose anything from starting him, in my opinion.
Well, if you start Trey Lance, what you're saying is we're giving up on the season.
Yeah, I'm saying that's what they should do.
Yeah, but we all know that's not what they're going to do. If you were a player in that locker room, how would you feel if they virtually said without saying we're giving up on the season? You're like, bro, I don't have my contract yet. You're telling me we're giving up on the season? I'm trying to get paid, So it's like that does not rub well in the locker room. Like you said for the Patriots, they're not trying to win, but they're trying to win. Like it's hard to tell guys we're going with the worst guy to lose games. Like it's hard to say that, bro. The Patriots tried to do it. They said they were going to do it and they failed. They're like, no, it's not good for morale, bro. Like even if he's the better quarterback, we all know he is. Get him out there, bro. Like, we need to try to find ways to win. And especially, I think the Cowboys should do it. Like, even though we shit on them every week and we say they suck and they stink, they're still probably a playoff team, bro. So, at the end of the day, you have to go with the better quarterback. You have to go with the more experienced quarterback, the veteran quarterback. Because, like I said, the goal is to be 500. Stay afloat until you get your $60 million quarterback back. But until then, it's not just we're gonna give up on the season at 3-5. We're a couple games away from feeling good again. The same way with the Jets, bro. There were a couple times that Jets fans were like, yeah, we should just blow it up. We're 2-6, da da da. And it's like, bro, the same thing applies for them. Like, bro, you get a couple wins, you start feeling good about yourself. That could change the whole trajectory of the year. So it's kind of hard to tell guys in the locker room that haven't got paid, that have kids to feed, that have mouths to feed, to tell them like, hey, we're just going to tank and lose games on purpose. It's like it's kind of hard to say that, bro.
They're not obviously gonna go up to them and tell them we're gonna lose games on purpose.
But that's what starting Trey Lance would do, because they all know that Cooper Rush is the better fit for the short term, not the long term, but the short term. Like I'm not worried. You think any of the Dallas Cowboys players that haven't got paid is worried about what they're going to do for the future? They don't give a fuck, bro. They're like, bro, I'm trying to win right now so that I can get paid. I don't care about what you guys, we're going to see what we have in Trey Lance. I don't care about that. I want to try to win games. And, I really do think morale is a big thing, and especially for football. Like basketball, it's somewhat, but it could be kind of thrown out the window if you have a good superstar. But for football, they literally have teams where it's like you have a field goal team, then you have a quarterback's room, then you have a wide receiver room, you got an offensive line room. So it's like a morale is like a different type of feeling in football. And I think to tell the whole football team, like, we're going to start a quarterback that we all know is not good right now, but we're trying to see what we have in our future, that's going to rub a lot of guys the wrong way. I mean, you could say, I don't care, I'm still going to do it, that's fine. But It just typically doesn't work that way.
Yeah, that's just what I would do. I would like you're obviously not gonna go up to them and tell them, yeah, we want to lose games, so we're going with Trey Lance. I would just break it down to them like, listen, guys, this is the better guy. We're just gonna start him. Go out there and try and win.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard to say that for the people that are with the two quarterbacks every single day and watch them play. And they're like, yo, this guy's clearly not better than this guy. Like, these guys aren't like children that you could just say, hey, yeah, we're just going to put him in and just see. Like, no, like, these guys are intelligent, bro. They know what's going on. They know it. They know it. And another thing that you have to take into consideration, too, bro, is Jerry Jones is getting up there in age. And he doesn't have time to wait. He doesn't have years to try to see what they have for the future. He wants to win a Super Bowl while he's still alive. And it's like, you know, they don't want to take any season for granted. They don't want to waste season. So they want to try to salvage it and see what they could do. But yeah, I want to move on. I want to get into the Bills versus Dolphins. So the Bills beat the Dolphins 32-27. The Bills moved to 7-2. Meanwhile, the Dolphins are now 2-6. So what's your take on that game, and what's your take on those two teams?
The Bills look good even at the start of the season. Yeah, I mean, they're obviously a playoff lock. They're 7-2. They look good. As far as the Dolphins go, yeah, it's not looking very good right now. I mean, they're 2-6. Devon Achane has been doing his thing for them, but their defense doesn't look good. Tyreek Hill looks a bit slower this year. Like, he's not the guy who's on pace to get 2,000 yards anymore. Like, clearly you could see age is catching up to him. He took like a little step back. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. They might be cooked.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think that obviously the Bills being at 7-2, I think we have to give it down to Marco to the Bills, bro. We have to, bro.
They look good,
I mean,
yeah.
no one expected. We all knew this was on Josh Allen. This season was on Josh Allen. He lost his receivers. He doesn't have a clear-cut number one. They just got Amari Cooper, and he didn't even play. Okay? So, he didn't have a clear-cut wide receiver the whole year. They lost a bunch of pieces on offense. They lost a bunch of pieces on defense. And they're 7-2, bro. And no one saw this coming. A lot of people thought that they were going to miss the playoffs. And so, now granted, we thought that the Jets will be better and we thought that the Dolphins will be better. So that means that the Bills would probably miss the playoffs. But for them to be 7-2, and they can probably, in the next 2 weeks, if they win their next two games and move to 9-2, that will probably be enough to lock up the division. So they can win the division in the next 2 weeks. Because even if the Jets decide that they want to win, seven out of the last 8 games, they still won't have, they don't have the tiebreaker against the Bills. So they would still end up not getting the number one seed. So they could lock up the number one seed in the next 2 weeks. So they could win the division, not the number one seed, but you know what I mean? They could win the division.
Yeah, they'll have a top 4 seed secure, which
secure,
is what you want. Yeah.
Secure, bro. So, I mean, bro, we have to give the Bills their flowers 100%. And Josh Allen's playing complete clean football. Does he still not have a pick this year? Like, that's wild, bro.
I'm not sure, but the MVP is definitely going to come down to him and Lamar. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, it's pretty much between them two. Like, at the start of the year, it was, mediocre guys like Darnold, Geno, Baker, but they're long out of it now. It's going to come down to Lamar and Josh Allen, I feel like. So, yeah, either Lamar will get his third one or Josh Allen will get his first one.
So Joshy is 17-2.
And how many rushing touchdowns?
I'm not sure.
Because he's a dual threat also.
Exactly, yeah. But 17-2 passing on the year. He's had a couple interceptions in back-to-back games. But, I mean, this is the cleanest football he's played in his entire career. And so, and they're 7-2. So you have to give Josh Allen and the Bills their flowers, bro.
I agree.
As far as the Dolphins, I mean, they're 2-6. It'd be, elementary for me to say that the season's over when the Jets were 2-6 and I was ranting that their season isn't over. But again, morale is the big issue here, guys, where it's a different feeling for the Jets when you have all the pieces, you have a lighter schedule, you have rest, you can go out there and try to win. Versus the Dolphins, we just got Tua back and we're 2-6. Like, we just got him back. It's going to take a couple weeks to get his feeling of the game back again. He was out for like 5-6 weeks, so it's gonna take a while to get his feeling back underneath him. Tyreek Hill, we all know, isn't the same, and the Dolphins' schedule is brutal down the stretch. So it's like kind of the opposite feeling of what the Jets' feeling is. And so they already had their bye, so it's just like, bro, like it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for the Dolphins for sure. But I want to move on. I want to get into our final story. Um, our final story, which is Packers and Lions. So the Lions won 24-14. They went into Lambeau and they won. This was the second game of the year that the Lions played that wasn't in a dome, and they only have one more game left in the whole year that they play that's outside, that's not in a dome. So the Lions improved to 7-1. The Packers fall to 6-3. As we know, this is the best division in football right now.
By far.
By far, the NFC North. So what's your take on that game and both teams?
I mean, the Lions played great as usual. I mean, they were up 24-3 at one point. The score ended up being 24-14. But yeah, they got the lead and they kind of like secured like the tempo of the game. Once they got it, I feel like you know, obviously the Lions have been insanely good this season. The rate they're going at, they're likely gonna lock up the #1 seed in the NFC, more than likely. Great win for them. For the Packers, I mean, yeah, it kind of was like tough loss, not gonna lie. I mean, it is a divisional game though. Like those games can always go either way. And Jordan Love came back from an injury, but I mean, they're still 6-3. Like there's teams out there that are 2-6 and 3-6, and we're saying they still have a chance. So I'm sure the Packers will be fine moving forward. They're gonna be a playoff team regardless.
All right. Yeah. So, I think that it was an impressive game for the Lions. They're 7-1. They won 6 straight games. They pretty much look unbeatable right now, bro. Like, I mean, we're not really seeing a drop off with Aiden Hutchinson. If anything, we're seeing that the guys are playing with more of an edge and more of a veracity.
Yeah.
Like they're saying that like Brian Branch said, the rest of the season is dedicated to Aiden Hutchinson. So, they're actually playing with more veracity than they were playing with him there. And so the Lions look amazing. As far as the Packers, it was a big loss, but every game is kind of like a must win in that division because of it being so tight. I mean, every single game, bro. Like, if the Lions go on a 2-game losing streak, they fall to 4th in their division. Like, that's how close this division is. So, the teams just have to win games. So, I do think the Packers will be there, but again, it's too hard to tell because that division is so tight. Everyone has the same record. The Lions are 2 games above. Everyone else has the same record. So it's going to be really, really close. A good team, 2 good teams are not going to make the postseason. And it's crazy to say because all this talk about the Lions, if they go on a 2-game losing streak and then they end up losing like a fluky game down the stretch, this team could miss the playoffs. And like that's how sad it is. Like a good team. There's gonna be a team, I'm telling you right now, bro, there's gonna be a team that's gonna be 11-6 and miss the playoffs. One of these the 2 teams, one team is gonna be 10-7, one team is gonna be 11-6 and not make it to the playoffs. And then we're gonna see like a 9-8 Jets get in there. So yeah, pretty brutal for that division, man. It's brutal. But yeah, guys, I want to end the show there. It was a big show, guys. We went over our feature story. We went over the Milwaukee Bucks, starting off 1-6. We went over that was our feature story, and then we went over the NFL, Dak Prescott, Bills versus Dolphins, and then Packers and Lions. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. That's what we went over was our Sports Mondays, as you guys know. So I want to get to the end of the show. I just want to quickly mention, guys, we definitely see you guys and we hear you guys and we know that, you guys love your sports, obviously. But we know that you guys want us to talk and be more diverse like we were. And we are going to implement that, guys. So on Wednesday, I'm breaking it now, guys. On Wednesday, we're going to have a jam-packed episode for you guys. It's going to be Casual Wednesday, okay? So on Casual Wednesdays, we're going to have just 3 topics like we did in the last show, but we're going to have 3 topics. And we're just going to spend a lot of time just yapping about those 3 topics, guys. So definitely comment below what topics you want us to talk about. We can implement that into one of the Casual Wednesday shows. But yeah, guys, we're going to bring 3 topics that we feel are a big problem in society today. And we can briefly talk about it, guys. And then, if you're more interested in that stuff, guys, because obviously, we can't go extremely hardcore like we would want to. But if you guys like that content, guys, please follow us. Rumble.com. It takes 2 seconds, guys. Rumble.com. Just Keep Up Podcast. We're there. We're streaming there every Wednesday, every Friday with the most edgiest, honestly, the most edgiest and the most raw content, guys. And if you guys want our political take on the election, rumble.com, Just Keep Up Podcast, guys. So we're going to have an excellent show. We're going to have an excellent show for you guys on Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, guys, I want to end the show there. It was a great show. Again, guys, we'll be back to you guys on Wednesday with Casual Wednesday. So it's going to be a great show. We're excited to bring that to you guys. And then do you have anything before we end the show? Yeah. All right, guys. So that'll be it for tonight, guys. Thank you guys for whoever stayed this long. We appreciate it, guys. Definitely like and subscribe. Help us to impact and to reach as many people as possible. Otherwise, guys, remember to stay one step ahead, and we'll talk to you guys on Wednesday. Yeah. All right, guys. Peace.